Imagine your EP lab's information system as advanced as your medical devices and expertise. Imagine operative reports completed within minutes after a procedure. Imagine real-time data sharing for every case, accessible by all EP staff using any browser, anywhere, anytime. It's here. Perminova EP unites scheduling, workflow, data, reporting, and billing so you get automatic reports, enhanced efficiency, improved revenue, and ultimately better patient care.
We've developed an information system for cardiology that matches the advanced technology and expertise that can be found in the nation's leading cardiology centers. We were developed by a cardiologist for cardiologists, so we mimic the workflow. We are able to capture some of the really rich data that comes out of cardiology, and we're able to really simplify some of the processes that are found in some of the most complex cardiac procedures and surgeries that can be found on the planet.
It became, over the last few years, so complex, the documentation required by various entities, including the hospital review panels and outside auditors, that we found that the documentation process was almost equivalent to the time that we took to do the procedure in many cases, so very burdensome. So this system allows us to take very good care of our patient, keep a close eye on them throughout the procedure. At the same time, we're able to do the documentation, I believe, much more efficiently than we can or could have done in the past with the paper records that we used to use. The data collected during the procedure can be automatically entered as you go along in the procedure, and so once the physician is done, the case is done, I can quickly document within several minutes using preformed templates that pull in the information and then sign the record electronically and send it to the medical record. Again, all within a few minutes. I don't have to dictate, then later review the dictations, again, dictate corrections, and then maybe several days after that have a final report in my hand. This is all done within a few minutes after the end of the procedure.
So the wonderful thing is that I no longer have to sign my name 100 times at the end of a case. A lot of things used to be on paper. I'd have to sign nursing orders, one set of papers, timeout forms for another set of papers, etc. Now everything is pretty much centralized in Perminova EP. I'm able, in a more efficient way, to see my schedule. I know what's going on in the lab at a single glance. Perminova EP is also accessible on the internet, so I can actually check from home or I can check from any desktop, so that we don't have the traffic jams that used to happen in the laboratory because only 2 or 3 computers had the information that we were looking for. So that's all been great, and I think the final thing is that just on a day-to-day basis, it's very easy for me to finish my reports and make sure that everything is done, reporting and billing at the end of my case. And or at the end of the day.
For me, it was all about the revenue cycle. How am I going to know, rather than getting an email at 4:45 the day before a patient's procedure, that a patient doesn't have the authorization to have it? We book our procedures 2 to 3 weeks out, sometimes 6 weeks out. We can't afford to have patients come internationally or from out of state and not know that they're not clear to have their procedure. That's a financial peace of mind for everybody that's involved, including the patient. So my most favorite feature of Perminova is clearly knowing that I can look at tomorrow's schedule, or I can look a week out and see what's been authorized by my team and see where I need to definitely step in and make sure that they're clear.
One of the problems with existing EMRs is they're typically enterprise-based. They're installed locally. The data is stored on the local servers of a hospital, and it's uncommon that one has access to any other hospital's data or database, without special permissions. And again, one of the things the federal government has mandated is this use of EMRs. And one of the things they'd like to see, I think, is that the data can be shared amongst centers. So as we go forward, a system like this, for example, can allow data to be shared between centers. Since it's stored centrally, the data is entered in a similar manner. Everyone uses the same software, a so-called kind of cloud-based concept of computing. And I think this is going to improve patient care and outcomes in the future.
I would say that the way to think of Perminova EP is not just as a reporting system, but as a centralized place to integrate all the various aspects of running a very busy EP laboratory. I think the single greatest benefit is that it's a centralized, integrated system that allows us to keep everything in one place. In today's busy EP laboratory, it's good to not have to coordinate in your head or otherwise 15 different things that need to be done. We know we can have most of the important things are in one place in Perminova.
Perminova EP has helped us from a quality perspective in one of the areas that we look at from quality is we look at the HOP scores. And what that is it's looking at the timing of our antibiotic from the time that it starts to the time of incision time. And Perminova has helped us in coming up with the perfect timing. It has to be within an hour's time frame, so we're able to see that in Perminova.
Perminova, I would definitely say, has changed the way in which we work, and I say we as a department, in regards to our efficiency. Prior to Perminova coming aboard, we would have my staff go back and forth in emails, telephone calls, and right now it's just one-stop shopping. They're able to see all the patients that are being listed for a procedure, be able to notify the return department, which would be right now our admins, that the patient has been scheduled, and from there be able to directly send that information over to our authorization and verification department so that they'll be able to work on the auth that much faster.
Sometimes we forget about the referring physician. We generate a report that is going somewhere, and for you to understand if the system is good or not, you got to put yourself in the referring physician's position. So when I read a Perminova report now, I like it. I would like to get this kind of report if I were a referring physician.
The people at Perminova are very receptive and understand that the product needs to be what you need it to be at the institution where you are. I can tell you that we have had many different changes and obstacles, and Perminova has been very flexible to move with those. We are in a high-paced, high-volume institution, and I can tell you that every day is a new day. And they have been able to quickly resolve some of our issues as best as they can, but they do it with a thorough understanding of what we're actually looking for.